Hello and welcome back. It's another weekend. We're here at the house again. I'm saying we, it's only me, but I must keep on going, otherwise I won't finish this project. So yeah, it really starts to pick up the pace now. You've just seen me doing a time lapse of the skim coating I did in this room yesterday evening. I did that, and whilst I did that, I had my cousin here who fixed the tiling on the floor in the toilet downstairs. I'm going to show you that in a minute. But I did some research in terms of how many coats of skim coat that you should do. I've given this a second layer now. So what I did yesterday was I sanded it down and then I did a second layer. And remember, this is my first time doing all of this kind of stuff, aside from what we did in the very first weekend in the other room next door. And I couldn't really figure out how many layers of skim coating that I was supposed to do. So I asked my dad, the old one. He said 3. I said, oh no, it can't be, it's way too many. I called my brother, he said 1, and I was like, no, it's not enough. So I was landing somewhere in the middle of that. I said, I need 2 layers of skim coat. And then my brother said, well, why don't you call the store where you bought the materials from, which is a real painter store, where the painters also go to, and ask the lady there. She'll give you a definite answer. So I called her up today and she said, you need to give it a full coat 1 time. So the solution, let me show you in the other room. Here I have taped the joints. So I added on a layer of plaster into the joint between these 2 plasterboards here. I added in the tape. I let that sit and dry because that's what I was told to do by the lady in the paint shop. And I have then now, I did that yesterday evening, added a second layer on top of that. And that is what you need to do, is that you need to get the drilling holes a second layer, because this is sunken a bit. This has sunken a bit as well. And then you give it a full coat afterwards. And if you're good at doing it, you can get away with just doing it once. The good thing about using this skim coat, which is basically a sand-based material, is that you can just sand it down if you are making some big gaps in it, or if you misplace something, or you add it on incorrectly. So you can simply just sand it down when it dries up. And what I could see in the other room was that it was not fully done, but it does mean that I have to go and give the downstairs room a bit more. So I need to give it like the second layer on top of all the tapes and on top of all the joints that I've done. And aside from that, I am also going to do the corners. So you can see I did this corner yesterday. This is going to make it a sharp edge. And these are just some like plastic materials. So you give it similar to what you do with the tape. You give it a bottom layer, you add in this corner bead here, and then you let that sit and dry, and then you just skim coat on top of it. And then it's going to be a nice and flush and straight corner. I can actually give you an example of that in the other room, because that's what we've done right here. And I haven't even sanded this, but you can just see how sharp of the edge it is. And in all fairness, I'm quite pleased with the result here. It has only been drying for, so it's been drying for like 18 hours. I'm going to give it another 18 hours before I start sanding the room down in here. However, the conclusion that I've come up with is that I'm only going to see if I can get away with it, or giving the entire apartment here just 1 coat. So yeah, that's where we're standing right now. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to do the corners, I'm going to do the tapes again, and I think I'll do that now here before dinner. Then I'll go home, get dinner, and then I'm going to do some of the other walls that I haven't done before, where I'm going to give them a full layer. But yeah, let me head downstairs and show you how the bathroom's looking. Would you look at that? What do you think of that flooring that goes out here? So you have to imagine that the flooring, or the tiles that we have on the floor right here, is also going to go up on the wall there. And I'm actually not too sure how many of the tiles that my cousin's going to use. At least in this area here, where you can see it's like purple or bluish color, is where we're going to put up the tiles. So toilet's going to be over there. I'm going to go out and buy a toilet tomorrow and we can put it back in. We are not going to strap it down, but we can connect it to the water pipe. And then my girlfriend's going to be very happy because it means that she can come out here and help and go to the toilet. So yeah, very, very solid progress. And then it's a matter of fixing another layer of skim coat on the tapes right here, as you can see. And on top of that, I think I might actually just start fully coating that wall there, maybe even the entrance up until upstairs. Don't know how much I can get done today, but I'm definitely going to give it a good push. And then I've got a full day of work tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to. So yeah, I bet I get cracking. Right, you might be looking at this and saying, Rune, why did you cut out the tape that you've already plastered over once? This sort of like paper thing is a relatively new element. It's not something that's been used for a lot of years. When you have these bubbles that pop out, let me add in a photo of a bubble from, actually I think it's from this wall right here in the video, so you can see the bubble up here in the corner. The reason why that happens is because either you've not added in too much plaster underneath it and then it sinks, or you have added the plaster and then you've applied the paper and then you've applied another layer of plaster and then it's wet on both sides, and that is incorrect. I asked the lady what I should do to fix the element. She said, well, the only thing you can do is to cut it out. So I took my utility knife, so I took this one and cut out the pieces, and then I could simply pull out the paper. And what I found quite interesting is that exactly where we have the bubbles, I'm not too sure how well the camera picks it up. Let me just try and move it a bit closer. Where you have the bubbles on the back side of it, you can see that the paper did not stick to the plaster as it did in the other areas I'm pointing at right now. And that is essentially what makes it not sticking in fully and coating into the wall, into the joint here, and then it creates a bubble. And when I add some wet stuff on top of it, whether that is paint or whether that is skim coat or whether that's the primer before the paint, it will bubble out again and it will look ugly over time. So the only sensible thing to do is to cut out some new pieces of paper, skim coat it again, skim coat the joints and redo it again, and that will prolong this process, which is annoying. But I was doing so it's Saturday today, and I was doing something in the other room on Thursday, and that's still not dry because of it's not 25 degrees, and the humidity is relatively high here in the spring these days. So it takes a bit of time to dry, which is annoying. I was hoping to get it done quicker, but I'd rather want to make it right than having to do everything all over again because I'm rushing things. So yeah, I think I'll patch up all of these holes I've made. I've created quite a few. There's also a few ones downstairs that I need to take care of. And then I just need to let that sit and dry, and I need to figure out what I can do afterwards. So yeah, I'll jump into that now. So I'm here in the house myself, and I've been here almost by myself this entire weekend, apart from today where I've had help from my mum. She came around, and really thankful for that, and my cousin Jesper, who's here. And as you can see, Jesper has been tiling out in the bathroom, and in my opinion it's looking wonderful. Just pulling out the spaces and adding up tiles to the next level really does make a difference, and you can really start seeing it coming along, so I'm very, very happy about that. What have I been doing, you might ask then? Well, you've already seen me plaster the living room, and right now it's very moist in here, and the reason why it's moist in here is because I've done nothing but plastering. So this is the future living room, fully plastered, as you can see. I'm hoping that the camera is picking up the difference in the shape, but it's really coming along nicely. I've only put on one full skim coat, and what I did was I ensured that I made it very, very thick so that I can always sand it down if I see some gaps and everything. I've also done the area around the windows, and this is going to be hard. I'm going to flick the camera around and just point with my fingers now. I've also done the stairs here. A sneak peek of what my mom's been doing. As you can see here, I have done the entire upstairs, or way to the upstairs. Actually, everything from where the kitchen and the toilet starts and for the rest of the apartment has been fully skim coated. And the reason why I was so keen on getting it skim coated is because I'm not going to be here next weekend because I'm going to attend something in my girlfriend's family. In the following weekend, I'm off to Paris with a couple of friends. And quite frankly, I couldn't really look forward to it because I just felt I was so much lacking behind, and I need to take some time off. And the thing is, I've got a deadline for myself that I've set myself in about a month and a half from now. And I can just see the 2 next weekends are flushed out in the toilet in terms of not being able to work here. And I was so afraid that I didn't get all of the stuff done that I wanted to. And I was annoyed the other day because I felt the drying time was high on this entire project, and I was just like waiting. it was a waiting game where I couldn't do anything. I could just wait. But quite luckily, I added in my heater, my gas oven, which is actually the one that's standing right there. So I added that one on some elements that I actually fixed, as you saw already, meaning that I could actually plaster over it today and yesterday, which is why I've made so much progress as I have. I've spent a fortune on skim coat or mud or plaster or whatever you call it, and I need to buy some more because I also need to do the kitchen. But what can happen now is that this can sit and dry for the next 10 days, or actually more than that, more than 2 weeks from now, where I could just leave it as it is, and we can then come and we can start sanding everything down. And once we've sanded it down, we can start painting it, and we can do that with every single room that's up here, aside from one specific element, which I haven't done, and that is, which is the windowsill right here. And the reason why I haven't done that one is because I had to do the corners and first let them sit, and then I had a different element up here that I wanted to do as well. So I think I'll come out here on Tuesday, or come out here on Thursday, and I think that there is a day or an evening's work in the kitchen downstairs, and especially if I have my girlfriend helping me, because then we can move stuff around together. She can put up all the skim coat at the beginning, and I can just focus on plastering it all out or skim coating it all out. I need to figure out what the right term is. If you know the right term, put it down in the description and I'll take note of that, because I'm an idiot. So yeah, what my mum has done is actually just above my head. That's the beams. I sanded down the beams in the other room. As you can see, I'm quite happy with how these come out. I like this one to be a bit more done, but it's always something that we can go back to. It's just something that is incredibly messy. As you can see in the room I'm standing in right now, just look at the floor, the state of the floor. And that's only like half a beam, and that was the only thing that my mum could get done today. Despite her being here for an hour and a half or something. But I only miss this small bit here, along with the rest of it that goes up there. I miss the beam on top of me, and then I miss to do this one. And in all fairness, this one's quite a simple one because it only has one side, whereas this one has 3 sides, and that one over there is only half a beam. So yeah, very, very happy with the progress. Admittedly, I was a bit down yesterday because I just felt like everything was against me in terms of time. Now it gives a bit more clarity. I think painting element of the entire apartment should, if I have the materials, only take 2 days. Might be a bit optimistic, but if I bring my girlfriend as well, it should only take 2 days. And the reason why it only takes 2 days is that once we start painting, so we're going to clean the entire thing, we're going to move everything into the middle so that we've got free space, and then we're going to start in one place, paint everything, prime it first of course, paint everything, and then start at the very top, go down to the first floor, and this is the second floor. So go down to the first floor where the living room and the kitchen is. Do it there, and then once we spend the time doing that one, we can go home, have dinner, whatever we want to do, come back, do a second coat, leave that overnight, come back, do a third coat. So that is essentially what I plan on doing with the painting. And once the painting is done, I can start laying the floor, I can start putting up a new ceiling, I can start putting in skirting boards. There's a few skirting boards I want to put up because they're important, and that is because I want to get the radiators back in here. So yeah, quite a few things to get started with, and then I soon need to go and buy a kitchen and everything. So there's a lot of things to do. We also need to fit doors and everything, but I'm going to call in my friend who's a carpenter, and he's going to help me with a couple of the more difficult things, which is putting up a new ceiling and adding in the doors, which is something I've never tried before. As with everything else in this entire build, well, I've tried painting before, but that's a different story. So yeah, I'll take one for now. I'll have to go to my brother's birthday. He's turning 26, so yeah, I'm going to spend some well-earned leisure time with my family. I'll catch you in the next one. See you then.